Hey guys, here's Shiny. Welcome to my review of The Salvation. Now, this is a movie I didn't see come out in the cinema, so I was quite shocked to find it on Now TV. I went in blind just to get an own personal reaction. Now, to give you an idea of the storyline and plotline of this movie, um, we are following two brothers who have been in the America's West for the last 7 years, and they've been trying to build up their own homestead. And one of the brothers has a wife and a child back in home, and they come on the beginning of the film, and unfortunately the worst happens, and then the bloodbath starts. So this is an awesome movie actually, and it's a great hats off to the Western genre altogether. It's directed by a Danish director called Christine Livrin. I've never watched any of his stuff, and I was trying to find anything that I could have seen of his, and I was so shocked because I thought everything with this movie, um, the way that the shots are made, they're so panoramic that they show you exactly what he wants you to show. They're framed so well by everything that's going on, and the way that like it switches between scenes to kind of give you this really cool atmosphere. I was like, why have I never seen anything this guy has done before? So he has done a few movies, but he seems to stick more to Copenhagen kind of area. This was released at the Cannes Festival, so it's been critically acclaimed already. So again, another surprise why I've never heard of this movie. It has amazing cast. I was shocked as ever when I started watching this to find Mads Mikkelsen in this movie. For those of you who don't know, here's a picture. No, here's a picture. And this is a guy who plays Hannibal. He was in Casino Royale. So he plays our John Jensen, who is our main lead character for this movie, and he plays it really well. At first, I was seeing the kind of same facial expressions as Hannibal, and I was kind of a little bit worried. But once you kind of settle into the story, you realize that you're kind of dragged in more because this character isn't. He's not one of these open books that shows emotion, and it's more attributable to the time that this would have been set in. There is also Eva Green in it, who doesn't speak one word, and still she manages to play that role so well. And she has no tongue in this movie, but she plays it so well. For those of you who don't know Eva Green, bad on you if you don't. Again, another person from Casino Royale. She had an amazing part in 300 Rise of the Empire. Some of the best outfits I've ever seen still is from that movie that she wears. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in this. So he plays the antagonist. He plays the bad guy in essence. You've probably seen him in things like Grey's Anatomy. He was in Watchmen. He was John Winchester from Supernatural, if you guys are big Supernatural fans. And he plays Henry Delury. Delury. Oh, I can never pronounce these names properly. The brother to Mads Mikkelsen, John, is Peter. He was born from the Hobbit series. So I was really shocked to see him. And one last person I really wasn't expecting in this movie was Jonathan Pryce. So you should know Jonathan Pryce from the Game of Thrones series, and he plays the mayor in this series. In this movie, I was like, where are all these people coming from? There's so many good casting, and I mean, there's loads more people in there that have got some really solid records behind them, but I'd be sat here all day talking about it. This movie was so well staged. It's not a long movie. It's only about 125 minutes, but you don't feel like it needs to be longer. It doesn't need to be longer. There's no kind of filler points where you feel they're just injecting something just to lengthen it out. The story is basic and straight to the point. It's perfect for a western because you don't need some stupid, complicated storyline or plot line with twists everywhere. It is a nice, simple cowboy story. That you've got the main good guy who is generally a good guy, but when pushed to shove, he's gonna do some nasty stuff. Then you've got the main antagonist who, has been to war and stuff has changed him, and he's now kind of rolling down the hill, as it were, and becomes your main bad guy. You know, the emotions of pulls out of him, and then it's just a clash, and it's a clash over family, and it doesn't need to be any more than that. It's a revenge plot line. Just nice, sweet, simple. And I love that about it. I love that they didn't try and make some complicated world out of it. It's the West. The only thing priority in the West is your own survival, and that was it. Your own survival is priority, nothing else. And they really pull that in this movie. I was amazed by the atmosphere. The music was spot on, and a lot of it. It really draws you in. There's loads of points where I was like literally at the screen going, oh my god, what's going on? But the characters and the actors and actresses, they played everything amazingly well. I couldn't spot anything bad that I didn't like about it. I mean, I was a bit freaked out at first about the pacing of the movie. The pacing at the beginning of the movie felt a bit weird, but when you realise that there isn't going to be this humongous plot line twist thing going on with the movie, you realise that there is no need for the pacing to feel like it's quicker than it is, because it doesn't need to be. And you kind of get your head around that, and that's really, you know, that's the amazing point of this movie. My favourite scene, I think by far, was this particular scene between the brother Peter, which is played by Mikael Persbrandt, and the assistant sheriff. Do they call it? No, deputy sheriff. They would call them deputy sheriffs, I guess. And they're sitting in the jailhouse. One's in the jail and one's in it. And he's just, the way he goes through, and he's like, you can see Peter purposely taunting, and you know he's up to something, and he's got this plan, but it's the way that he does it. And for it was pulled off. It was just a brilliant scene, and the way that the camera like gives you this focus, and then it slowly focuses in. It's telling you what's important in this scene that you should be aware of. It's saying you don't need to know about what's going on out here. This is where you need to see. And a lot of the scenes were like that. They were kind of positioned that it's so hard to explain without, you know, watching the movie. And 100% I recommend watching this movie, but you'll see it when you see the way things are set. There's no kind of, oh, this person has to be in the middle of the screen. There's none of that. It's literally like you'll have characters that are slightly to the side with a little bit of background going on, because it's specifically showing you the background for a reason, and it hits in a certain points where it wants you to have your attention, and you'll realise right at the end why when it zooms out. It's amazing. So 100% watch this movie. I'm giving it a million thumbs up. This was an amazing movie. I really enjoyed it. It didn't need to be any longer. It had an amazing cast. It had an amazing director who the way that it was filmed was amazing. The music was great. There's just really nothing I can pull out of this movie that I didn't like, and I think it was purely tipped off to the Western genre, and I don't think there is anything. So yeah, it was awesome. So watch it, please. Do it now. I saw it on Now TV, but I believe it'll be available on things like Google. If you want to do Google or online, you'll probably get the DVD somewhere. It's released in this country. It was only made in 2014, 2015 it was released. So it is a very new movie. This is a movie that you're not going to struggle to find. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this and you've learned something. And I will leave you to it. Remember, keep on shining, and I'll see you in the next video.